I do Bharatanatyam, which is the classical dance from Southeast India. Bharatanatyam is a religious dance form, but it has relevance to every other compartment of life. Because in India, everything has got a religious meaning, you know, eating, marrying, dancing, singing, because I think it's a much more holistic kind of society. I come from a family that's been Christian for about 4 generations, so I'm somebody who was brought up and felt very much at home going to church. When I was very young, I remember going to the Church of South India, where the music was, you know, Carnatic music. It was classical South Indian music, and everybody there were Tamil. And then later in my life, I went to the High Anglican Church. So there, I got very used to very sort of ritualistic Anglican worship, you know, very much kind of book, bell and candle kind of variety, which I thought was very beautiful. I'm not convinced that to express a spirituality in Christian terms, one necessarily has to go to Western culture in order to do it. Most people in the West would be happy to see God portrayed as an old man with a white beard, but they would be less happy to see God portrayed as a dancer, you know, standing on one leg with 4 arms. But for me, Christianity doesn't really come naturally clothed in the cultural rhetoric of middle-class Britain. I mean, sometimes I think people here believe that Christ was born in Tunbridge Wells. I don't feel a contradiction between being an Indian and a Christian and a classical dancer. Part of my spiritual inheritance is all the spiritual activity that has gone on in India, you know, whether it be Buddhism or whether it be Hinduism. Often, when I see pictures of Buddha, in those pictures, I don't see any contradiction as a Christian. I see the great compassion, which is one aspect that I value very much in Christianity. Christianity in Britain is so wrapped up in its, or it is perceived to be wrapped up in its colonial ideology, and the kind of Christian spiritual culture was so particularly, you know, Anglo-Saxon, that I found it quite difficult to be an Indian within it. You know, it seemed to me I had to choose between Indianness and a Christianness, if you like. I think over the years, you know, I found my kind of own ground where I feel happy about being both those things.